Okay, episode 7 of the Dork Age podcast
starts now.
Starts now.
Wait.
Can we start it now?
Yeah, right now.
Right now. Okay.
Right now.
You're listening to the Dork Age podcast, episode 7. In this episode, we talk about YouTube heroes.
Ooh.
The controversy
surrounding
YouTube heroes. Ghost in the Shell trailer.
Mm-hmm. Or non-trailer.
Or the non-trailer of Ghost in the Shell. The Magnificent Seven. Both Chris and I saw that last evening. MacGyver is back.
I did not even know they were making a new MacGyver series.
Hey, here's a callback to last week. I was like, what year is it? Corey Feldman is relevant, and now MacGyver.
There we
just premiered. Okay. Terry Jones, unfortunately, being diagnosed with dementia, and Monty Python in the... I want to do just a complete, retrospective conversation on the impact Monty Python has had on me.
Absolutely.
And you two wearing your Monty Python t-shirt. I love it.
Exactly.
And Jumanji. Again...
What year is it?
And that's the movie that meme came from.
Exactly.
So how perfect is that?
All right.
Okay, let's get into it. So, YouTube heroes. Chris, you weren't aware of YouTube heroes.
I did not know that this was a thing.
I had mentioned it to you a few times over the last week, and I just showed you the video.
Right.
So, coming at it from a person who maybe doesn't watch YouTube as much as I do, what are your impressions?
Okay, so initially, my thought was... this could be interesting. It could not be that bad, especially with that level 1 thing in the YouTube Heroes video that Google posted.
Subtitles,
captions.
That's a great service.
That is great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Flagging inappropriate videos until you get to the mass flagging level. I was like, okay, because I have seen some just people nude and stuff on YouTube.
But Chris, if I may interject,
please.
Everybody has always had the ability to flag and report videos. Yeah. Now you get points for it. Now they are encouraging this behavior. Go on.
That I think is where it turns for me, because up to that point it's like, okay, yeah, I could see this, but the minute you start incentivizing people flagging what they consider inappropriate, quote unquote inappropriate content, that creates a very strange dynamic in the YouTube community.
Right.
And we're going to obviously talk about that.
Well, I think the people who are going to be affected by this the most are conservative channels, anti-SJW, anti-feminist, atheist channels, who I happen to follow a lot of those, not necessarily conservative channels, even though I am a fan of Milo Yiannopoulos. Yeah. Not necessarily his support for Trump, but his views on feminism and gender stuff in specifics. But here's the deal. So if you have a video or if you have a channel that has a history of posting controversial content, not necessarily inappropriate, not necessarily negative, but content that is, here's this person, here's what they're saying, and here's my argument to what they're saying. Yeah. Okay? And YouTube as a social media platform, should welcome that dialogue, right?
Yeah, you would think anyways.
Right. But unfortunately, we have come to a point in time where the people who are running YouTube, it would seem that they want to make YouTube a quote-unquote safe space. Yeah. And so, dissenting opinions or opinions that might differ from your own can not only get shouted down by other people, but now can be shut down permanently. Okay, so you have
like the mass flagging thing. Right. Yeah, if 3 videos in an entire channel,
three strikes and you're out.
Yeah, if 3 videos in an entire channel, say that channel has 1,000 videos, if 3 of them are considered inappropriate, that channel is now gone.
And there's people whose livelihoods depend on YouTube. For example, The Amazing Atheist. Yeah. He just surpassed 1 million subscribers. I've been watching him for a long time, and he has a lot of very controversial opinions. He has been a YouTuber since the fledgling days of YouTube. Wow. Okay. Makes his living doing it. Now, he posts videos where he's like, here's this feminist gender warrior, whatever, and he kind of breaks it down and maybe debunks them, or at least presents his side of the argument.
Of course.
Okay, and now the people that are against his viewpoint
And there will be a lot of them just from his name, The
Right.
Amazing Atheist.
Now they can go through and they can earn as many points as they can to get up to the level to where they can start mass flagging videos, and then that's it. And then they start shutting channels down. The problem that I have with this is, first of all, that monitoring of content and the policing of that website should be done by YouTube themselves.
Yes.
And if they are going to have a community of people who are going to do the policing, there needs to be some kind of application and vetting process. You shouldn't be able to have the power to start mass flagging videos and shutting down channels just based on how many imaginary points you've earned.
It reminds me a little bit of the way that Wikipedia has evolved its editing process. Like, now you have to, you always have to provide your sources. You always have to, any changes that you're trying to make on Wikipedia now need to be vetted by more than just yourself.
Right.
It's very difficult to just change, like, a single line in any Wikipedia article now. Like, it's evolved.
There's checks and balances there.
There should be, but and this gets back to the way that YouTube Heroes is going about it. It seems like this is going to cause so many problems.
And I'm sure it will. There's always going to be abuses to these kind of systems. Now, could these anti-SJW, anti-feminist atheism channels and the cancer channels, the YouTube drama channels like Keemstar and Leafy, could they send their people to YouTube Heroes and have them start earning points to shut down channels they disagree with? Absolutely, they could. But then when you start doing that, you kind of take away your bread and butter. You take away your content. If your content is based around YouTube drama or based around debunking other YouTube videos, or at least arguing other YouTubers' points, then by shutting down these channels, you have nothing to gain. But the opposing sides to those have everything to gain because they're shutting down dissenting opinion. Now, as the time of this podcast recording, there has been 2.1 million views on the YouTube Heroes video that was put out by YouTube. 17,000 likes, 655,000 dislikes. And the like to dislike ratio on this video, from what I have heard, is greater than just about any other video that's on YouTube right now. And a lot of people are up in arms about it. In fact, YouTube has edited that video since it first came out. So when you go to the part where it says report inappropriate content accurately, it used to say report negative content.
Yeah.
When you get to the part where it says moderate YouTube Hero community, moderate comments in the YouTube Hero community, it used to just say moderate content. But they've added these little footnotes, and I think that due to the backlash, maybe they are already making changes to that policy. And it seems like YouTube does this a lot. They will try and institute some policies in order to kind of clean up or make YouTube a better place, whatever. But all of a sudden, there's huge backlash by big YouTubers. Because YouTube has nothing to gain by doing this. YouTube honestly doesn't have the manpower to moderate everything. Yeah. There's so much content on YouTube that they just don't have the manpower to do it all. So they're kind of putting it on the audience. But instead of any kind of application process, you just join up and then you just start earning points. But here's the thing. You're able to mass flag videos before you're even able to contact YouTube staff directly. And why is that such a high level for you to be able to contact YouTube staff directly? Everybody who has a channel on YouTube or has an account on YouTube should be able to send an email to somebody, right? Right. So as a YouTube creators like we are, albeit a very small channel, we have to start earning points before we can even talk to anybody about this. And what if I said something, even during this segment, that made someone mad? Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure that we have said things in the past in our previous episodes.
Right. And so they're like, well, you know what? I'm just going to start flagging that podcast videos. And then all of a sudden we don't have a platform anymore because we get more views on the podcast segments on YouTube than we do total downloads.
Yeah.
We're just about to hit 1,000 views total. The channel's been up for 2 months.
Yeah.
And we're just about to hit 1,000 views. So our audience is bigger on YouTube than it is anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's an issue for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's not like, are we making a living doing this?
No,
Hell
of course
no.
not.
We're doing this for fun. But at the same time, we want to create, we want to put things out there. We want to have our voice heard. We want to have a platform for our views.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that we like and things that we want to talk about. And the reason why is because if we like these things, odds are there's going to be other people out there who will get enjoyment from it.
Theoretically.
Yes. But now all that's being threatened because we may say something that somebody doesn't like.
Yeah.
And they might take it upon themselves to start just, you know what, we're done. We're done with them. Just all it takes is a few people now and they can shut down a channel for good. And what's the recourse for that? I mean, where's the checks and balances in that system? Is there a moderator YouTube staff who moderates the community? I don't know yet. Enough details haven't come out about this program yet to really give us an answer.
Exactly. And I would be interested to see what the process would be for, excuse me, like if some YouTube hero starts mass flagging videos that, again, they just straight up disagree with. An overly zealous Christian goes to the Amazing Atheist page and starts mass flagging his videos because he's an atheist. Does the actual YouTube community of moderators and people that are in charge, do they have
actual employees?
Yes, actual employees of YouTube. Do they have then a voice to say, no, you can't do this, and I don't know, take points away from people who do that?
I don't like the whole point system. I think it's stupid. It's dumb, and the rewards aren't tangible. Maybe the try new products. What are they going to send you? What products? Physical, tangible products.
I don't know.
YouTube
maybe they're going to try to re-release
YouTube
Google
Red.
Glass.
They have YouTube Red, which is a subscription service, but there's not really any YouTube branded products out there, like tangible, I can hold it in my hand products. So what's the appeal to that? There's the YouTube Summit. So basically it's a convention for all these YouTube heroes to get together and kind of talk about how many channels they shut down and how awesome they are because they're making YouTube a better place for them. But every channel, even the cancer channels like the Keemstar and Leafy and all those, they have an audience. They have millions of subscribers. They have people that log into YouTube and that they want to see that content. Okay? So why leave it to a small group of people to shut it down and ruin it for everybody else? So it's going to be up in the air. It's kind of going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Really.
Yes.
It's going to be one of those things we're just going to have to kind of sit back and watch, but I definitely wanted to talk about it this week because it is kind of big, and I am a heavy YouTube user.
Exactly.
Okay, I do not have cable. I rarely watch Netflix. I rarely watch Hulu. Okay, really, my main source of entertainment comes from YouTube.
And honestly, lately, since we've started doing the podcast, putting stuff up on YouTube, my viewing has been largely YouTube-based.
And that's the thing. And as a YouTube channel viewer, as a YouTube viewer, okay, I find videos that I like, and then YouTube starts recommending other videos for me. I find channels I like, I start subscribing. So I get home from work, I sit down in front of the TV, turn the PS4 on or the Chromecast or whatever. First thing I do, load up my YouTube app, go to my subscriptions. Whoever's got new videos on there, I start a queue and just start playing it. That's my entertainment.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. I really hope none of my favorite channels get shut down because of this.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Is YouTube Hero going to be the new synonym for SJW?
It very well could be. I mean, it depends. It depends on how it's going to actually play out, I think. Because, I mean, like you said, yes, a lot of, SJW type people are going to be trying to shut down.
Well, that's what they want. That's their favorite thing to do is to shut down any kind of
dissenting
opinion.
voice.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. And that's a very Nazi way of looking at things.
They aren't interested in opposing viewpoints. They aren't interested in debate.
Yeah. And, a lot of people are not interested in debate. I don't understand that personally. I love talking to people and I love sharing ideas and trying to come to a consensus viewpoint. that's kind of my life goal, really, is to bring as many differing viewpoints together to create kind of a new consciousness. Like,
it doesn't mean and that's the thing. Just because you have a different opinion doesn't mean you're necessarily wrong. But you should be able to look at another side of thing. And that's one of those things that I'm kind of struggling with myself in my personal life, is that I have a real problem with empathy. That's something I struggle with, is being able to see other people's side of things.
Right.
Whereas I get so wrapped up in what I'm doing, especially at work, that I'm kind of driving people away from me, because I'm like, no, this is the way it's supposed to be done, and this is the way we're going to do it. And then they kind of get upset because they're like, well, you don't think about how I feel. And it's true. And I have to go back and I have to be like, look, I apologize for you, or to you, for saying what I said and the tone that I used. And it's something, and it's a really humbling experience. But it's one of those things that we all have to learn.
Yes.
If we're all going to get along.
And honestly, I think that is the kind of thing, it becomes more difficult as you get older. Or at least it seems to.
You get set in your ways, man.
Yeah, there was an article that Cracked put out last week, I think, that was saying millennials are not as awful as everyone says they are, because they are literally just more open to other people's viewpoints. And
but are they?
I don't know.
Because it seems to me like a lot of people aren't. But
a lot of people aren't. No, that's very true.
What's crazy, because this is like the most political that we've gotten on the Dork Age podcast.
It is true.
Maybe it's a new journey for us. If this, we'll put this out as a segment. Comment on it if you have any kind of anything to say about it, and maybe we'll touch on it a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have a about last week segment next week.
Right, but 17 minutes is far too long to talk about these things. Let's go ahead.
We'll move on.
Okay, so this week they premiered the new trailer for Ghost in the Shell, which has already garnered some controversy before the trailer even came out, because they're saying it's been whitewashed with the casting of Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah,
as the
ScarJo is the main character.
And I never saw the Ghost in the Shell anime. I'm not a huge anime fan.
I have not watched the original Ghost in the Shell film in probably almost 20 years, but I have seen it.
So I'm going to go see the movie.
Yeah,
okay?
Me too.
I'm going to go see it without having seen the original.
I feel like that's
decided.
Fair. I'm not going to rewatch the original before I go see it. But I kind of
want to rewatch, or I want to watch the original afterwards and see which one I liked better.
I feel like we should make an event out of this. You and I will go see Ghost in the Shell when it comes out, and then we will watch the Ghost in the Shell
and then
anime.
we'll share our thoughts.
Yeah,
on
and then we'll do a segment.
I remember they've been trying to make a Ghost in the Shell movie for a long time. In fact, I believe Keanu Reeves, after The Matrix came out, was attached as maybe like a producer or something. So, having seen Ghost in the Shell, albeit 20 years ago, are there any stills or frames, because that's pretty much all we get in the trailer. It's all we get
in the trailer, yeah.
That are reminiscent of the anime to you?
Yeah, like the naked ScarJo, where she's just sitting in front of
I'm all about naked Scarlett Johansson.
Well, always, yes. But, her sitting in front of that bay window, naked on the bed, just kind of sulking and thinking about things, that is in itself very reminiscent of the entire movie.
Okay.
But I'm also pretty sure that was legitimately just a straight up shot from the original movie too. Again, I saw it 20 years ago. I can't remember anymore.
Now, one thing I can say that, not having seen the original but should be comforting to the fans, is that this first trailer did not come off as summer blockbuster action movie event of the year. Okay? It was I can't think of a lot of mainstream moviegoers who would watch that trailer and think that's something I want to see.
Yeah, no.
That trailer in and of itself, and we might get some other ones down the road, but that trailer in particular, 57 seconds, seemed very alienating. Okay? Yeah. I have no idea what's going on. There's really nothing telling you anything about the story whatsoever.
Well, it reminds me a little bit of Blade Runner. Like, did you ever see any of the original Blade Runner trailers?
Oh, yeah. Well, not the trailers, but I definitely saw Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah, of course. But, like, I could totally see them cutting a trailer like that for the original Blade Runner.
Okay.
Like, if they were to do a new trailer for Blade Runner in the style of this Ghost in the Shell trailer, they could absolutely do that. very easily with footage from the original Blade Runner. And I don't know, it would probably still be just as alienating for me because, I mean, I've even seen Blade Runner a bunch of times, but like if I saw a trailer like that for Blade Runner, I don't know that I would want to see that movie.
And, you know, if I hadn't been exposed to like nerd culture to where I have been aware of Ghost in the Shell for a long time. I still haven't seen it. I'm not an anime fan. Sorry, folks. But if I hadn't been aware of what Ghost in the Shell even was, if I had seen that trailer and didn't even know it was a adaptation of an anime, I'd just be like, that looks weird.
It looks
weird.
I
would have to see more trailers before it would really convince me to go see it. But I am going to go see it because it's, first off, it's controversial. Secondly, we do a podcast where we're doing movie reviews.
We might as well.
So I might as well see it. So, kind of up in the air on my opinion of the trailer. It didn't really have anything that really grabbed my attention except for naked Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, because I'm a pervert.
So it's controversial because ScarJo is white, but the majority of the rest of the cast is Asian.
Right, and the main character in Ghost in the Shell was Asian as far as the original goes, or
it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, because with anime series, everybody just kind of looks the same, regardless of whether they're supposed to be Japanese or not. Right. They all just kind of look generic, white-ish. And the main character in Ghost in the Shell, again, looks kind of generic whitish.
Right. Now, as far as anime goes, I've watched Akira quite a few times.
See, and I've never seen Akira.
It's pretty interesting.
But like that's another one that has been tried. Like people have been trying to make. That would be
really tough.
Yeah, because I know a little bit about the story of Akira.
That would be really tough. And you know, I've seen Akira multiple times from childhood. I remember whenever the Sci-Fi Channel started their Saturday anime. And so then, you know, my dad and I would watch it, and I just never really got into it. But we watched Akira, and it was like an event for the Sci-Fi Channel to show Akira. And we watched it, and I just really didn't know what was going on. And I ended up somehow getting a copy of it on VHS. I think someone gave it to me or something, and I've watched it a few times. I still don't know what the hell's going on most of the time. I mean, I can kind of give you a generic rundown of what's going on from what I remember. The movie Chronicle, I think is going to be as close as we get to a live action version of Akira until we actually get a live action version of Akira.
I can see that.
Right. But is Ghost in the Shell going to do well? Who knows? How have we had any successful live action adaptation of animes? Have we had any live action adaptation besides what? Speed Racer, which I actually liked.
Death Note.
Never saw it.
See, the Death Note anime is outstanding. It's very, very good. But Japan put out live action versions. There's two live action adaptations of Death Note, the original then, and then the sequel. I don't know. I've never seen them, but I've heard that they are outstanding. They are outstanding adaptations.
Now there is,
and Netflix is making at this very moment a live-action adaptation of Death Note.
Well, holy shit.
Yeah. And I'm really excited about that because, like, I've seen the entirety of Death Note. It's good. It's really good. So I'm hoping that it's going to be great.
There is an anime that I do remember renting multiple times, and it was Galaxy Express 39. If you've never seen it, check it out. It's got a character in it, Captain Harlock. He's actually called Captain Warlock in the anime. He is a space pirate, but basically the story is about this kid. He loses his mother, and he tries to get a ticket for the Galaxy Express, which takes him to this planet where he gets his robot body. It's like this big thing, and just all these weird things happen to him on the way. But that's one of those things I do remember as a child renting a lot and watching.
There is a CG movie on Netflix called Space Pirate Captain Harlock.
Oh, it's the same character. I've seen it.
Terrible.
Yeah,
it's so bad. My cousin and I watched that on Netflix one time because he's a huge anime fan.
Right.
So he came to visit, and we were looking for something decent anime related to watch on Netflix. We come across this, and we're like, okay, well, we'll check it out. It was so bad.
Yeah,
I
tried to watch 20 minutes of it and was just
it's beautiful.
Interest.
It's beautiful.
Oh yeah,
but it's terrible.
A lot of those Japanese CG movies, just like just like Kingsglaive, where I'm like, it's gorgeous. I have no idea what the fuck's going on. All right, let's move on. Okay, so you and I both saw Magnificent Seven.
We did.
Unbeknownst to each other.
Yeah, I didn't know you were going to
I was going to surprise you. I was going to be like, hey, I saw Magnificent Seven. We can talk about it. And you're like, hey, I saw it too. And I was like, oh my God, what show did you go to? And you're like, 9:45. I was like, I went to the 6:45 one. Oh, shit. Magnificent Seven, starring Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Vincent D'Onofrio, Ethan Hawke. So first off, you gotta love Westerns. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And it's a decidedly American genre, even though a lot of Italian directors have had a lot of success. Directing Westerns, but it's definitely an American story. All Westerns really are at the core, because it's the taming of the Wild West and the formation of America as the country that we know. So, you've got these countries that have their own stories. You've got these Victorian kings and queens settings in Europe, and then you've got these karate, kung fu, all these
samurai,
kind of things, and samurais and everything. We have the Western. Okay. Now, what's surprising to me is that in America, we don't get as many Westerns as you would think.
Not anymore.
All right. Now, and surprising to me whenever I look back on how many, like, I wouldn't consider myself a huge fan of Westerns, especially older Westerns. My dad loves them, and I've watched them with him and was just bored to death, especially when you're a kid trying to watch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and you're just like, But when I think back on the Westerns that I've seen in the theater, 3:10 to Yuma, True Grit, fucking Django Unchained, Hateful Eight, now the Magnificent Seven. But it seems like we may get like one every couple of years,
right?
Or maybe I think we had the Hateful Eight and Magnificent Seven both this year. So that
Hateful Eight, I think, was late last year.
Are you sure? Because I watched it when I moved to this state.
Really?
Yes, because it had just came out when I moved here, and I moved here in December, so it had to have been within. Yeah, because
I thought it was like Christmas of last year.
Around Christmas. Well, it's not Christmas now, so it's still the last year.
Okay, fair enough. I thought you were literally just talking about the year of 2016,
September, sir. So really, I mean, if you think about it, if you take Django Unchained and you take Hateful Eight out of the equation.
Because those are both Tarantino spaghetti movies. Western types.
Quentin Tarantino is the only one making original Westerns right now.
Yeah.
Because Magnificent Seven is a remake.
It's a remake.
3:10 to Yuma was
also a remake.
True Grit was a remake.
Also a remake.
Can you think of any other Westerns that have come out besides The Hateful Eight and Django Unchained? Like maybe in the last 5-6 years? No, I can't. I mean, I'm sure
there was one.
We're not counting the Ridiculous Six.
No, of course not. No, but there was another one that was released on, I think, Amazon. It was either Amazon or Netflix. I think it had Josh Brolin in it. But it was
the Cowboys versus Aliens or some shit? No. Jonah Hex? I mean, those don't count. I'm talking about
those don't count
Westerns.
There was. I can't remember what it was called though now. So I'm sorry, but.
So I think for a big part of it, Quentin Tarantino should be recognized as kind of reinvigorating the genre.
Yeah.
But also, it seems like whenever I was growing up, we had 0 Westerns, and then Tombstone.
Bone Tomahawk.
Unforgiven.
That was the name of it. Bone Tomahawk.
Right, but is it a major theatrical release?
No, not. Very much not a major theatrical release, but I did hear that it was pretty good.
Okay, so let's actually get into the meat of it. Magnificent Seven. So, right off the bat, I gotta say that I was impressed by all the performances, but the 2 actors that stood out the most to me were Ethan Hawke, and the one who stole the show was Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh, yeah.
For me.
Without question.
And that's the crazy thing, and I was leaving, and I was thinking, I was like, every time I see Vincent D'Onofrio's name in the title screen or the casting, I get excited.
Yeah.
But I always forget how great of an actor he is.
Oh, dude,
and when you think about what his last role was, Wilson Fisk in Daredevil, 2 wildly different roles, and I absolutely love the way he chose to portray Jack Horn. He's got this like really high-pitched voice. He's kind of quirky and just kind of
very
a weirdo,
Well, I mean, he did get just brained by a giant rock right before he joins the cast.
And, one of the main reasons I wanted to see The Magnificent Seven is because of Chris Pratt. I've been a fan of Chris Pratt since I was watching Parks and Recreation. Yeah. And I'll pretty much go see any movie he's in. And I'm really glad that he's
So did you see the trailer for Passengers before Magnificent Seven?
No.
They didn't show Passengers trailer before Magnificent Seven?
I don't recall.
That's Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence on a spaceship?
No, I did not see that.
Okay, you need to watch that trailer.
Maybe I went to go get popcorn or something.
We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah. But it looks good?
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of J-Law. I know a lot of people like her, but I don't think she's. I don't know. Anyway, let's move
little
on.
off topic.
Okay, so Denzel Washington gave a performance that I expected.
Yeah.
All right, he's Denzel Washington. He's a fantastic actor, but he didn't really bring anything new to his performance. The same thing with Chris Pratt. He was Chris Pratt. Okay, but that's great for him. He's going to be a great leading man, and I hope he's very successful. Ethan Hawke, though. Is one of those, like, this is like Kurt Russell in, what was it, Tombstone?
Yeah.
Yeah, like his role. It was so surprising and just like, wow, Ethan Hawke, I keep forgetting how good of an actor he is. And it seems like every time I see Ethan Hawke in a movie, I'm like, he still works? What? You know, because the last movie I remember him even being in was The Purge.
Yeah.
You know, which was a low-budget horror movie, and all of a sudden he's in a ensemble, big-budget Western. He did great. He did absolutely great. And, you know, Vincent D'Onofrio was fantastic. And there's a lot of things in that movie that are very Western cliche.
Yeah.
Like when Denzel Washington walks into the bar.
And
everybody's close up on
everybody's
the doors and everyone's like watching him and everything. But at the same time, these are cliches that you like to see, where they are forgiven because it's that genre.
Yeah.
Okay? You can have a million action movies that just be the same cliche over and over again. No, it's the same thing. But with a Western,
I'm too old for this
you
shit.
almost look for these things. And we aren't inundated with Westerns like we are some other movies.
Very much so.
It wouldn't be a bad thing. But I want to see more original stories.
Yeah. That is a great point, actually, because the only original Western stories that we have gotten lately have been spaghetti Western stories.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino.
From Quentin Tarantino. But at the same time, those are still not realistic.
Right, and
they're
highly
not realistic.
stylized.
They're very highly stylized. And
hip-hop soundtracks and shit.
Yeah, and they're revenge fantasies, which this movie also has a very basic revenge storyline, but it's
and that
at
seems
least
to
more
drive
realistic.
a lot of Westerns. It's like, we have this outlaw, we got to take him out. Oh, man, you remember Young Guns?
No.
You've never seen Young... Oh,
no.
Dude. You could very well say that that's like the Magnificent Seven of the late 80s, because I mean, you had Emilio Estevez and Lou Diamond Phillips and all these, and he was Billy the Kid. Right. And I just now thought of that, Young Guns. That was such a good movie. And there was a sequel. It wasn't as good, but it was all right.
But anyway, that is one that I've always wanted to see.
See it.
Yeah.
You should see it. That's where the Bon Jovi song, that was on the soundtrack to that movie.
Wanted, Dead or Alive?
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Dude.
Yeah. So the crazy thing is, when you think about Japan, okay, you've got Godzilla movies, you've got samurai, kung fu movies out the ass.
That new Godzilla trailer
all the
looks
time.
Amazing, though.
But in America, you would think that we would have more Westerns. And I'm not talking about, like, what was that Matthew McConaughey movie that just came out? I didn't see it. And movies like that Mel Gibson would do, like The Patriot and stuff, where it's stories about the formation of America, but it's not necessarily a Western.
Right.
I want to see more Westerns, original Westerns.
There was something, I think it was probably a cracked video or article that I was reading that was talking about the fact that Westerns, for being, a singularly popular genre around the world, but a singularly American popular genre, not very big box office. Like, for
surprising.
any of them. Like, they, the 60s, the 70s were huge. You would see a Western out every single year. Clint Eastwood made, like all of his, best movies in the 70s.
Fistful of dollars, few dollars more, Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Exactly.
All those,
But those movies did not have a particularly large box office gross. They weren't
blockbusters.
Yes, they were, and no Western has ever been a blockbuster, which is probably why
there's plenty of Westerns that have been critically acclaimed.
Yes, most of them are critically acclaimed. John Wayne made his entire career on shooting Westerns.
Yeah.
And he was the biggest movie star in America for 20 years. And that made him make that horrible Genghis Khan movie. But Westerns traditionally do not make a lot of money. And I don't know why that is.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
It really is.
We'll see if that changes with the Magnificent Seven, whether they actually get a decent box office gross on this opening
Theater
weekend.
was packed last night.
Yeah,
for my show.
For the 9:45 show, it was almost packed.
That's good.
And that's a late show.
That's good. So some of the things that I want to talk about as far as the movie itself, because we've kind of just talked about Westerns
in general,
but the movie itself, first of all, there were some really emotional moments in that, particularly during the third act.
Yeah.
And
third
a lot
act
of
was
the characters that died in it, I kind of got a little misty on some of those. And that's the weird thing about growing older, is because I find myself getting more emotional. I never used to care.
See, and I've always gotten emotional about movie
and
deaths.
it just seems
even
like
when I was a little kid.
the older I get, the more emotional I get when I watch things like that. But so I we don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen it. But there's some people in there that maybe died that you're like, oh, I didn't want to see that person die.
Right.
And
all of the people that did die.
Right. And
all
it's a gorgeous movie. Okay. They're not really bringing anything new to the table, but it's beautifully shot. It's paced very well. There aren't many scenes where I'm just like, this is dragging on. That's my main issue with a lot of the old school Westerns is they just really were kind of boring to me. And maybe that's just because whenever I watched them, I was a kid. Maybe I should give them another chance. Maybe I should go back and watch the original.
Maybe we should have
maybe
we should have a Western day, movie day or something.
But there was a lot of things in that movie that, in the Magnificent Seven in particular, it was just, there were some beautiful shots in it. I think the villain in that movie was great. He was pretty ruthless and brutal, and Denzel Washington as the leading man did very well. Chris Pratt was great, but
a good comedic foil. Yeah,
I went into it thinking I would like Chris Pratt's character the most, and came out being like, oh shit, Vincent D'Onofrio and Ethan Hawke were fantastic in this movie. And I love the just the kind of demons that Ethan Hawke's character, Goodnight Robichaud, is facing in that movie, and his Asian companion, and some of the action scenes with him were really awesome. The way he uses knives and everything. And if you get a chance to see it, go see it. If you don't want to see it in the movie theater, wait till it comes out. But everybody should see The Magnificent Seven. And I love the ending where they played the iconic theme song at the end, because it's like, look, we're not going to forget about the original, and we're definitely going to pay homage to that.
I will say, I have never seen the original.
Right.
Have you?
It's been a long time. I know Yul Brynner was in it.
Really?
Who was in the original Westworld, which HBO is... which HBO is doing. And maybe that'll help, because the Westworld is going to be kind of a mishmash of both a Western and a science fiction thing. And that's one of the reasons I love Firefly so much, is because it was like a sci-fi Western.
Yep, that's exactly what it was.
There were horses, and they were these frontiers that they were trying to tame, and bullets with, guns with real bullets in them. And I love that. And about Firefly. So I like, those are the two genres that you don't think on paper would work well together, but they do work so well together.
Except in Cowboys versus Aliens.
Never saw it. Don't care to see it.
It's so bad.
So the director is Antoine Fuqua.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else has he directed?
I have absolutely no idea, but I know I've seen his name attached to stuff before.
I'm going to look him up real quick.
All right.
Talk amongst yourselves. Antoine Fuqua,
if you
American film director. He did Training Day. Ethan Hawke and Denzel Washington, which was a great movie.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is Training Day came out in 2001. Wow. Can you believe it's been 15 years?
I mean, it's like our Super Troopers discussion last week.
And I remember watching Training Day for the first time, being like, oh, Ethan Hawke, he hasn't worked in a while. And then all of a sudden they're working together again. So, I like seeing directors that use a lot of the same actors, because, I mean, Denzel Washington won an Oscar for his role in Training Day. And
and the girl that plays the main, I've already forgotten her name, but the girl that hires Chisholm and the rest of the seven, she and Denzel actually worked together in a movie a couple of years ago.
Which one was that?
I have no idea. I just looked her up afterwards because I was like, I wonder if I recognize her from anything else, because she has a familiar looking face in The Magnificent Seven, especially. Is that one of Ron Howard's daughters or something? I don't know. But she's not. Spoiler alert, she's not. But
it says here that Antoine Fuqua was producer of the 2016 television remake of Roots. Did I miss that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was... I think that was during Black History Month this year.
Oh,
they aired that.
Because I remember watching Roots in school. And
Geordie
just being-
LaForge.
Oh, yeah. Kunta Kinte, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No,
All right,
his
I'm gonna
name
have
is
to check that
Toby.
out. It's Kunta Kinte. Fuck you. All right, let's move on. Okay, so last week we were like, what year is it Corey Feldman is relevant? And then all of a sudden I have this remote control app on my phone, and it sometimes shows me ads, and it shows MacGyver premieres tonight. And I was like, what?
What?
MacGyver? It's 2016. There's not a new MacGyver. And again, I don't have cable. I just watch YouTube pretty much exclusively.
Right.
So I got a hold of the premiere episode of the new series of MacGyver. And boy, was it terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me.
Now, did you ever watch MacGyver?
No.
Okay.
Not a single time.
So, but you understand the
I get
relevance of MacGyver, and he was always like making stuff out of paper clips and shit. That's like the big joke.
Yeah,
he could make an atomic bomb out of a paper clip and a rubber band. And MacGyver is actually a verb too. Like,
it is now.
MacGyver.
Yeah.
So I watched it when I was a kid. It aired in 1985, I believe, when I was 4 years old.
Right.
Okay, so I caught it most of the time in syndication. Most of the time, I wouldn't sit down and watch a full episode. I would watch
Havoc. Havoc plays MacGyver.
Oh, is that the
It's the guy that plays Havoc in X-Men First Class.
All I could think about was that the role of MacGyver was severely miscast.
Because I can see that. Like, I'm looking at the kid's face and I'm like, really? That's MacGyver?
That's MacGyver.
That's MacGyver?
But see, the problem is, and so I watched
he kind of looks a little bit like MacGyver, right. I guess.
Okay, so I watched the premiere of the new episode of MacGyver, and then today I watched the pilot episode of the original series.
Right.
And I think where they fucked up in this new series is with the casting and portrayal of the character of Angus MacGyver. Because in the original series, he just looks like just your average Joe kind of guy wearing a flannel shirt. Yeah, he was really super smart. He did work for this government agency or a super secret agency, and he would go in and rescue people and defuse bombs with just regular tools. And in the pilot, there's an acid leak at this laboratory, and there was a vending machine, I guess, that had fallen over, and some chocolate bars fell out, and he picks up all these chocolate bars, and the girl that's with him, she's like, what, you eat chocolate? He's like, maybe we could store some energy. But anyway, he's like, the chemical composition of this chocolate reacts this way with this acid, and it'll like gum up this thing so we can seal this leak and rescue these people. So, and he does use like paper clips to shut down this rocket and everything in the first episode, and it's great. And all that is done in the new series, but MacGyver in this new series comes off as arrogant.
Oh,
okay, which definitely was
not
the spirit of MacGyver from the original. He's always like, he meets this computer hacker, and he's like, you hack computers, I hack everything else. And he's always like,
Lord,
I'm the guy who does all this stuff. And when he's in this new series, when he's making the little contraptions or whatever, or when he's doing when he's MacGyvering, they have like subtitles that show what the tools he's using. And it's funny because someone posted a meme on Reddit today, and it's like, we had to be told 3 times what a paperclip was. And he used a paperclip 3 different times. And I know that's the joke about MacGyver, is that he can do whatever with a paperclip and a rubber band and a battery or whatever. But they actually did it 3 times in here. Now, some of the things that they kept that I noticed was the voiceover, because MacGyver did a voiceover in the original series. He does a voiceover in this one. But the MacGyver show was pretty much centered around MacGyver. And in this, you've got MacGyver, and then you've got this hacker girl, and then you've got his buddy who's like the gunner, the hired muscle kind of guy. I guess he was on CSI for a long time. And then he goes home, and he's got this roommate who's like, the hip urban black dude who has no idea what MacGyver does for a living. And there was some twists and turns, but some of the camera work was absolutely horrible. There was a scene where he's talking to his partner, and it looked like the camera kept shaking up and down, like they weren't even using any kind of stabilizer or anything for the camera.
It was just some dude holding it.
I guess so. And I'm just like, come on, man.
You can't shoulder that shit.
And it just looked horrible. The dialogue was terrible. The camera work was really bad. And it just makes me wonder, I was like, how did this even get greenlit? Because apparently, and I did some research on the new episode, but evidently the original idea for the pilot was wildly different, and then they shot a new one. and this is what we got. So I really don't see MacGyver lasting even a whole season. I think it's that bad.
Yeah.
Now, is it going to be one of those things that's so bad it's good? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Is it going to be one of those shows like Bones that just flies under the radar forever? I don't think so. I think it's going to be so bad that really it's going to fall off pretty quick.
By the way, this week in Is Bones Still a Thing? Bones is absolutely still a thing. They just put new episodes up on Netflix.
Oh my god, Bones is still a thing. This just in. So go watch MacGyver if you want to laugh, I guess. And that being said, going back and watching the original MacGyver without the nostalgia goggles on, it's not that good either.
Right.
Really.
So a buddy of mine from up in the city apparently was watching it, and he had posted on Facebook. So I didn't even know this was a thing until like right before it aired, but I'm watching it now. And then after it was over, he posted, so it's definitely not MacGyver, but I'm going to hate watching this.
And I was thinking, I was like, maybe I'll watch next week's episode just to see how shitty it is too.
Yeah, to see if it continues the shitty trend.
All right, we'll see. MacGyver, does it suck? In my opinion, yes, it does. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. All right, let's move on. Okay, some very sad news came out recently.
I was really bummed about this.
And Terry Jones of the iconic British comedy troupe Monty Python has been diagnosed with a form of dementia, which basically he's unable to communicate now. He's directed, he's written, he's authored books. Of course, he's been an actor, and he's been with Monty Python for a long time. I mean, since the inception, of course. Yeah. And now he can't even communicate, which honestly, I don't know which I would be more bummed out. Hearing this or hearing that he died.
Yeah.
Because both things are incredibly sad. And we haven't lost a member of Monty Python since Graham Chapman. All of them are still surviving.
Yeah.
But now you have one that's still alive, but he can't do comedy anymore. And it's really sad. And Monty Python has played such a huge role in my life. And in what I find funny and humorous. I remember I had to have been like 7 or 8. My dad comes home and he's like, Eric, I rented a movie and you have to watch it with me. And it was Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yep.
And I absolutely loved it. First of all, I couldn't believe my dad was letting me watch this movie with him. And I just sought out everything of theirs after that. The original series, all of their movies, Life of Brian, The Meaning of Life, even movies like Jabberwocky, movies like Yellowbeard, which had a lot of the cast members of Monty Python in it. Movies like Eric the Viking. And really,
a bunch of them were in Time Bandits too, weren't they?
Absolutely. Terry Gilliam directed Time Bandits. So, you have all these movies that I grew up loving and these comedy sketches that I absolutely adored. Monty Python, Live at the Hollywood Bowl. I remember when the internet first was a thing, going online and like printing out the script for all the sketches and just reading over them. I had a lot of their comedy albums. Know a lot of their songs by heart. I had the desktop Pythonizer, the computer software. I had the Monty Python and the Holy Grail video game. Okay,
they had a video game.
Yes, they had it was a point and click adventure. What? Yeah. So Monty Python has been such a huge part of my life. Also, my love for British television. Okay. Are You Being Served? Fawlty Towers. Mr. Bean. Doctor Who, of course. So all those things started with Monty Python. Even movies like A Fish Called Wanda and Strange Creatures? That basically was like the spiritual successor.
I thought it was Beautiful Creatures.
Beautiful something
It was
Creatures.
Something like that, yeah.
It was a forgettable movie.
Yeah, but it was not as good as...
It had Michael Palin in it.
It was not as good as A Fish Called Wanda, that's for sure.
And I went and saw the Monty Python or Spamalot. I saw Spamalot live.
I still have not seen Spamalot.
When the touring group came through Springfield when I lived there at Juanita K. Loved it. So I absolutely adore Monty Python. They're a huge part of who I am.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was one of those things that like my dad and I bonded over, and my mom would roll her eyes over when him and I were making jokes to each other. And I have to come to the realization that we're going to start losing more of these people. And they haven't really put out much of anything. I remember when Michael Palin and John Cleese both were on SNL. I watched it live. They did the parrot sketch live. And it was great. But we're not going to get... I was in high school. It was whenever Fierce Creatures or whatever came out. It was when that came out. they were promoting that movie. I remember Terry Jones put out the Madam Whatever Book of Pressed Fairies. Did you ever see that? Oh, ask your girlfriend. She's probably heard of it. You open it up and it's basically like a little girl took fairies and like smashed them in a book. That's great. Hilarious. And he's put out a bunch of books like that. And it's just sad knowing that era is going to come to an end. And of course, we're still going to have those movies, and we're still going to have all those sketches and all those people that have been influenced by them are going to continue creating work. But you hate to see those people be taken away, especially in a situation like this where it's like watching an uncle get diagnosed with Alzheimer's or something, where he's just like losing his faculties. And I'm at a loss for words. It just makes me very sad.
No, I understand that absolutely, because my story of Monty Python love is really almost entirely mirrored by yours, because again, about 7 or 8, my grandma, actually, because I was raised by my grandma, she rented Monty Python and the Holy Grail and watched it with me, and I probably watched that movie as many, if not more times than Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I could quote so many parts of that movie.
I still like, because I have it on DVD
so
now.
So do I.
And I will still, like, whenever I watch it, will just quote along with the entire thing. When I was in middle school, I was in the theater program in my middle school, and I requested that our teacher get the script for Monty Python and the Holy Grail, because I wanted to do it for forensics. So I did.
Forensics? What does forensics have to
do? Not like crime scene forensics. Forensics in theater is...
I was never a theater kid.
Yeah. So. Forensics in theater is competitive acting, basically. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why they call it forensics, but they did.
All right.
So she did. Our teacher got us the script for Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and we, a friend of mine and I, did scenes from Monty Python and the Holy Grail for our humorous duet competitive thing.
Which scene did you do?
Let's see. We did the Bring Out Your Dead.
Oh, great.
We did the Black Knight.
I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Oh, Black Knight.
You'll be stone dead in a moment. No, we did.
I feel better.
I feel happy. I feel happy.
I love at the end. He's like the king once, but he's like, "Oh, it must be a king. Why do you say that?"
He hasn't got shit all over him.
Yeah. Oh god, we could spend a whole episode talking about it.
Dude, we really could. No, honestly. But yes, it's very, very, very similar. Our love for Monty Python evolving into love for basically all things British.
Right.
Monty Python spurned my love for, or not spurned, but started my love for, like, Are You Being Served? The one with Hyacinth's buffet. Shoot, what was her name? I can't remember what that show was called. But all the
PBS stuff.
All the PBS British comedies. Yeah, and Fawlty Towers is so good. Mr. Bean. And that has translated but like that has translated into a love for like new British comedy series. Yeah. The Mighty Boosh and Garth Marenghi's Dark Place and
Catherine Tate even has or had a sketch comedy show,
did,
and I watched a lot of it too. In-Betweeners. That show is great.
I haven't watched In-Betweeners in a couple of years at least.
I love that show. But that's just the thing. It means so much to us, and it's one of those things that if I were to ever have a son, maybe even a daughter, I don't know, but it seems like it would be more of a dad-son bonding thing, which is weird that your grandma.
No, but there's the Family Guy joke. Do you remember the Family Guy joke? Somebody does slaps Meg with a fish or something, and she just says, "I'm a girl. I don't even like the good Monty Python."
Oh, you misogynist. All right. Let's move on. I'm going to cry if we keep talking about this.
I understand.
Jumanji, they're making another one?
Yeah.
What year is it?
What year is it?
2016. We've got Corey Feldman.
That is itself
We've got MacGyver. We've got Jumanji.
We've got Jumanji with Kevin Hart, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Karen Gillan, who Karen Gillan, and Jack Black.
Jack Black's in it.
They're the main characters.
anything about it.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't apparently a reboot, though. This is a continuation.
It is a according to what Dwayne The Rock Johnson has said.
He's never been wrong in his life.
That's true. That's true. But like, here's the photo.
I saw the photo.
You saw the photo. Karen Gillan tweeting, Jumanji! Yes, I'm wearing child-sized clothes, and yes, there is a reason. The payoff is worth it. I promise. #Jumanji.
So, Iron Man director Jon Favreau directed the original Jumanji, correct?
I don't know.
Or is he doing the new one?
I have not seen anything about Jon Favreau being attached to either Jumanji.
Now I have to look it up.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have the app open on my phone.
That's handy. I do want to, while you're looking it up, want to talk about the names, because Dwayne The Rock Johnson posted the same picture on his
Joe
Instagram.
Johnston. Why did I think it was Jon Favreau?
I have no idea.
Okay. Anyway, go on.
But he's tweeting about our dope 90s vintage costumes will all make sense when our plot's revealed, which those are not 90s costumes like at all. They're like, at least Jack Black's is like a turn of the century fucking jungle explorer costume.
Okay, here's why I got the Jon Favreau thing. Jon Favreau directed Zathura, a space adventure, which was based on a book by the same author of the Jumanji.
Well, and it was basically the same movie, except it was a sci-fi game instead of a jungle.
All right, so that's why. Sorry for that. I'm wrong.
But Dwayne The Rock Johnson tweeting out the names of the characters, which I hope are just a horrible, horrible joke. Because,
well, what are they?
Okay, Kevin Hart's character is named Moose Finbar.
Okay. Is this George Lucas make up the names of these characters?
I think he must have, because Karen Gillan's is Ruby Roundhouse.
Oh my god.
Jack Black's Professor Shelley Oberon.
Okay, that's not as terrible.
And the worst one, though, is The Rock's character's name, Dr. Smolder Bravestone.
Smolder Bravestone. Wow.
Dr. Smolder Bravestone.
Wow. This movie's gonna suck.
What? What is happening?
I'm sure it'll be great for children.
And I think that's, probably gonna be what it's for.
And I probably won't go watch that in the movie theater.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It doesn't really seem to entice me at all. Jumanji remake.
Like, I'm really
despite
hoping...
being Karen Gillan in it.
I'm hoping that, because have you ever played there are board games based on like H.P. Lovecraft novels and stuff, so like the characters that you can play in the board game, have ridiculous names and stuff. So maybe it's that these people are characters in the Jumanji board game.
Okay.
And maybe it's kids that are actively playing the game or something. And the things that happen to them in the board game is what's happening to their characters in the game, which is why they're all in jungle clothes and running around in the jungle. Yeah. And The Rock is the doctor. Yeah.
Do you think they'll reference Robin Williams' character at all?
I should hope so.
Because in the original Jumanji, he got sucked into the board game as a child and then was brought out as an adult.
Yeah.
So if they're in the world of Jumanji and they're characters in the Jumanji, then they should have crossed paths with him at some point, right? And if it takes place or if it's a sequel, like they're saying, I would hope that they do.
Well, consider that it's a parallel universe. The
extended Jumanji universe.
Maybe.
The cinematic universe.
Like the jungle that Jumanji takes place in, the game itself, the jungle, it's a pocket universe or something. Okay. And when the kids are playing the game, elements of that pocket universe are pulled out of it and into the real world, which is how you get Van Pelt, the hunter, pulled in. That's how Alan Parrish gets sent to this pocket universe and spends 26 years there and then gets pulled back. So, considering that it's potentially at least a pocket universe, these characters that exist in the current Jumanji timeline in this pocket universe, again, 20 years after the original.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, because it was 96.
God, I'm old.
because there's even a line that Kirsten Dunst says. He says, "What year is it?"
Mhm.
And she says, "1995. Remember?"
Huh.
And it was 96 when it came out. But yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's been 20 years, 21 since they filmed it.
Oh my god. I turned 35 in a few days. Let's move on. All right, South Park.
Yep.
This week in South Park.
This week in South Park.
We'll start talking about it since we've been watching it week to week.
Mhm.
And the goal is whenever shows that both Chris and I are really into, like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, we'll do kind of a wrap up on them. So really right now, until Game of Thrones or Better Call Saul or some of these other shows that, you know, we like.
We've got Dirk Gently starting late October.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Finally. Okay, great. So that'll be definitely some things that we'll be able to talk about.
Mhm.
So South Park, there's a problem with trolling and internet trolling.
Yeah.
And
YouTube heroes.
And here's the thing. Since they can create and make an episode in 6 days.
They're going to be talking about YouTube
maybe
heroes.
they will start talking about that. And these online communities policing themselves. Who knows? But they're really cracking down on the trolls this time. And the funny thing is that Kyle's dad is the troll.
Everyone assumes it's Cartman because Cartman is a horrible person.
Right. He's the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
You know, and what's great is that they've kind of taken your absence off of social media to be like suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it could be seen that way by some people who are so like into the social media scene.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
whose entire lives revolve around social media. Yeah.
Right. I remember there's a girl that I was friends with on Facebook who decided that she was better than having a Facebook account.
Mm-hmm.
So she was going to delete her account. So what did she do? She created an event on Facebook. I'm not going to say her name, but it was this person, we'll say Susan Foreman's exodus from Facebook. And on this date, I'm going to leave Facebook. And she did. And then a month later, she was back.
Of course.
But that's the thing, is like you're announcing your suicide almost. she's been taken off Twitter, which is funny, but they don't really seem to mention Facebook a lot in South Park. They do talk about Twitter more than anything else.
Yeah.
And the member berries are still part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on with the member berries?
The member berries
Because
are clearly a conspiracy.
Right. Well, Mr. What's his Mackey?
Yeah.
Mr. Mackey is eating member berries, and he puts them away whenever the little boy comes in and talks about how he's going to get off of Twitter.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting part, is that you see Kyle's dad in the grocery store, and you see the member berries in the produce section.
Yeah.
So you know that that's where they're getting them, is at the grocery store, but he doesn't seem to be buying them.
Mm-hmm.
And are these two instances related?
Maybe. I'm kind of interested to see what Randy does. Because in the first episode, he realized that the member berries were a little racist.
Yeah. You didn't see Randy in this
we did
last
not
episode.
see Randy do anything concerning the member berries in this past week's episode. So
what's up with the member berries?
Yeah.
Do you have a theory? Leave us a comment. Send us an email.
Do you remember?
I want to know.
Do you remember?
Do you
Ronald
remember
Reagan?
the member berries? So anyway, I like how you see basically the way they did it. I thought that little girl was going to commit suicide.
Right?
And then they're like, she took herself off Twitter.
It's like, oh my God, no.
Let's
Are
take
they
'em-
doing this? Are they
Right.
really doing this? You hear something hit the ground.
And that's the thing. And it's South Park. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did.
Exactly.
But they are correlating suicide to an absence of social media.
Mm-hmm.
They take Cartman because they say this is the thing that has to be done. They take him out to the woods, and you're like, what's
They
going to
pull
happen?
out weapons.
They pull out weapons, and they break his computer. They break his tablet. They break his cell phone.
They murder his
online
his persona.
online persona.
Yeah.
And then the girls, they have to take their stand, and they break up with all of their boyfriends.
At the same time.
And it's almost
simultaneous.
It's great, but it's great because it's almost like a war scene.
Yeah.
But it's all them handing these breakup notes to their boyfriends, and they're all like, ah, and the music is so like somber.
Slow-mo.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh no. They're all getting broken up with, and Kyle's dad's just Boston, playing
He's just
Boston.
listening to Boston as he types up his
Smoking
trolling shit.
by Boston. First of all, I absolutely love Boston.
Of
and
course.
that first album is incredible. Every song on that album was a hit single. But I'm surprised they used that one. But when they're doing the montage of him, he like pours a glass of wine, puts on the Boston album, and then they start the most ridiculous montage, such like unrelated clips of things in there, and then all of a sudden he's on stage trolling with Boston. And just photoshopping dicks in people's mouths and stuff. South Park is just so out there, but so far I am enjoying this season more than the last one, and maybe it's because I'm doing more of a week to week instead of whereas before I would kind of wait till the whole thing ended and then watch the whole season, try and do it in one sitting, and it kind of maybe some of it's lost on me, but I'm enjoying the season so far. I'm anxious to see what's going to happen, and they're planting some seeds that I want to see pay off. Yeah. Hopefully, with the YouTube Heroes thing has caused a big enough stink that they'll address that in some way.
That would be great, actually. Yeah.
And what's going to happen to Cartman? And that's what's really interesting to me is Cartman is evil. He is maniacal. He is just an evil little boy. Okay. So he's just had his most important, he was like, this was like 2 Christmases and a birthday all together. What's he gonna do?
Yeah.
Because if anybody knows how to get revenge, it's Eric Cartman.
We talked about Scott Tenorman Must Die last week in our South Park retrospective.
And what's going to happen if Gerald is found out? What's going to happen to him? What's Cartman going to do to him? Right?
Because he already hates Jews.
And that's and what's crazy is if you think about it, for all intents and purposes, the little girl who got off Twitter is a ghost now. They're mourning her loss. She's still there, but it's almost as if she doesn't exist.
All right, everybody, let's tweet what things we would like to say.
Right. So what's going to happen to Cartman? Because I really hope that we don't see him kind of turn around and be a different kind of character. I want to see him be dark. I want to see him be evil.
Vengeance.
I hope so. Vengeance will be Cartman's. All right. So I guess that's it. A minute or an hour and 10 minutes.
Not too bad.
10 minutes. You get extra 10 minutes this week.
All right.
So that's going to be it for the podcast this week. We will be back next week with some more South Park stuff. Maybe I'll watch the next episode of MacGyver.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Send us an email. Tweet us. Send us a comment. Whatever you want to do. Just let us know you're listening.